Imagine waking up one morning to find a perfect copy of yourself, not in a mirror, but inside a machine. It breathes your breath, carries your memories, holds your fears, and somewhere deep in its digital heart, it already knows the answer to the question you've been afraid to ask your whole life. The question of when. There is a question humanity has been asking itself since the very moment our first ancestor raised their eyes to the starlit sky and understood their own mortality. A simple and infinitely terrifying question: how much time do I have left? For millennia, we searched for the answer in the stars, in the flame of candles, in the trembling entrails of sacrificial animals, in the lines of a palm. And every time, the universe stayed silent. But today, in the 26th year of the new millennium, something has appeared on the horizon that makes scientists, philosophers, and ordinary people across the world freeze in a mixture of wonder and dread. Digital twins of the human being. Complete biological simulations built on the foundation of artificial intelligence. And some of them can already predict death. Let us begin at the very beginning, with what a digital twin actually is, not in the abstract, but in the most literal, almost tangible sense. Imagine that one morning you walk into a clinic. You are scanned from head to toe. They take your blood, your saliva, samples of your skin. They record the rhythm of your heart, your blood pressure, the electrical activity of your brain. They capture the patterns of your breathing, the movement of your pupils, the micro-expressions of your face. They analyze your genome, all 3 billion base pairs that make you precisely you and no one else. Then all of this is uploaded into a supercomputer, processed by deep learning algorithms, and on the screen it appears: your twin. A virtual copy of your body that breathes, ages, falls ill, and responds to medications exactly as you do. Only inside a machine. Only in the world of numbers. Does this sound like science fiction? That is what people thought 10 years ago as well. But reality outpaced fiction with the breathtaking speed that has long since become the defining signature of our century. Projects to build digital twins of human beings are today funded by the world's largest medical agencies. The European Union has invested hundreds of millions of euros in an initiative called the Virtual Human. In the United States, the Food and Drug Administration, the very organization without whose approval no medication reaches a shelf, has already begun exploring the possibility of replacing some clinical trials on humans with trials on digital twins. This is not simply a scientific experiment. It is a quiet revolution, reshaping the very nature of medicine. But why is this necessary? Why create a digital copy of a person when the person themselves exists? The answer is simple, to the point of brutality, because a human being cannot be broken for the sake of an experiment. When scientists develop a new drug for cancer, they cannot simply take a patient and try dozens of dosage variations to find the optimal one. They cannot simulate what will happen to his body 20 years from now under one treatment protocol or another. They cannot press a reset button and start again, but a digital twin can. It can be tested endlessly. It can be killed and resurrected within a simulation hundreds of thousands of times. It feels no pain. It does not file lawsuits. It simply works quietly, tirelessly, producing results that then save the lives of real people made of flesh and blood. This is where things become truly extraordinary. Scientists at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology created a digital model of the human cardiovascular system several years ago with such precision that it allows the prediction of a heart attack several years before it occurs. Not several hours, several years. The model analyzes the condition of arterial walls, the velocity of blood flow, biochemical markers in the blood, and identifies patterns completely invisible to the human eye and even to traditional diagnostic instruments. It is like looking at an outwardly calm sea and seeing through the depth of the water that a vortex is already forming, the beginning of a future storm. And at Stanford, a group of researchers went further still. They created models of cellular aging virtual simulations of exactly how your body will deteriorate over the years. Each cell in this simulation ages according to its own laws, interacts with neighboring cells, responds to stress, nutrition, and physical activity. And all of this in accelerated time. In a single day of supercomputer operation, it is possible to calculate biological aging that in reality would take decades. Think about that. In 24 hours, living a virtual life half a century long. Now comes the sharpest question of all, the one for which you most likely clicked on this video. Can a digital twin name the exact date of your death? The answer, as always in true science, both thrills and disappoints at once. No. For now, no. An exact date it cannot give. But here is what it can already do. Determine with unsettling precision the probability of death within a specific time interval. The model might say, for instance, given your current lifestyle, your genetics, and your present health indicators, the probability that you will not live to see 75 is 83%. This is not a verdict. It is a forecast. Like a weather forecast only, instead of rain. The subject is your life. British scientists from Oxford developed an algorithm that analyzes the results of a standard medical examination blood tests, blood pressure, data on weight and lifestyle, and predicts the risk of death within the next 10 years with an accuracy 1.5 times greater than that of traditional risk assessment methods. In tests on real patients, the algorithm produced results that left physicians breathless. It saw death where experienced doctors saw nothing abnormal. And it was right. But digital twins are not only about predicting death, they are also about postponing it. This is precisely where the technology transforms from something frightening into something genuinely breathtaking. Imagine a tumor has been found in you. The doctor does not simply offer a standard chemotherapy protocol. He loads all your data into a digital twin system, and within a few hours, tests 20 different treatment protocols on your virtual copy. The simulation shows this particular drug at this particular dosage will produce remission with a probability of 91%. And this other one will cause severe side effects because you carry a specific genetic variation on the 17th chromosome. You are prescribed exactly the treatment created for you. Not for the average patient, for you singular and irreplaceable. This is called personalized medicine, and digital twins are its primary instrument. Today, it exists in the form of pilot programs at the world's leading oncology centers. Tomorrow, or more precisely, already in 2026 and 2027, it will begin moving beyond the walls of elite clinics. Technology companies are already developing wearable devices, smart bracelets, biosensor patches, implantable chips that will collect data about your body in real time and continuously update your digital twin. Your twin will age alongside you, learn alongside you, and warn you before your own body has had the chance to sound the alarm. But the further this technology advances, the louder the questions grow, questions for which science has no answers yet. Not technical questions, ethical ones. Who will own the data of your digital twin? You? The company that created it? The insurance firm that would gladly pay for access to your personal mortality forecast in order to revise the terms of your policy? Imagine, you apply for a mortgage, and the bank already knows that according to your digital twin, you are unlikely with high probability to live to see the loan repaid. Will they give you the money? This is not a dystopia. It is an entirely plausible scenario, one that lawyers, bioethicists, and human rights advocates around the world are already debating. And there is one more question, perhaps the deepest of all. Would you want to know? Psychologists who have studied human reactions to predictions about life expectancy discovered something remarkable. Some people, upon learning they had little time left, began living with tripled intensity. They quit jobs they hated, reconciled with people they had not spoken to in years, finally did the things they had dreamed of their whole lives. Others sank into a paralyzing anxiety that itself accelerated their decline. Knowledge of death is a double-edged sword. It can become liberation, or it can become a verdict that a person passes upon themselves. The ancient Greeks understood this. It is precisely why, in their myths, Prometheus, who gave humanity the gift of fire, took away from them, along with that gift, one thing: the knowledge of the hour of their death. Because the gods understood, this knowledge is unbearable for a mortal creature. Today we stand on the threshold of becoming Prometheuses ourselves and of confronting the curse of this gift with our own hands. But there is another dimension to this story, one that makes the heart beat a little faster, not from fear, but from astonishment at the grandeur of the human mind. We are the only species on this planet that does not merely live, but investigates the very conditions of its own existence. We do not simply die, we study death. We do not simply fall ill, we model illness, break it down to atoms, search within it for vulnerabilities. Digital twins are not an attempt to deceive the universe. They are an attempt to understand its language, a language written in nucleotides, proteins, electrical impulses, and biochemical cascades that in their totality are what we call life. And do you know what is most astonishing of all? The deeper scientists immerse themselves in simulations of the human body, the more they are struck by its complexity. Our organism is not simply a machine. It is a symphony of 37 trillion cells, each one living its own life, making its own decisions, communicating with its neighbors, adapting to change. The digital twin allows us for the first time to hear this symphony in its entirety, not individual instruments, but the whole orchestra at once. And what we hear is beautiful and terrifying in equal measure. We stand at the beginning of an era that future generations may call the most important turning point in the history of medicine. An era when treatment has finally become truly human because it is created for each specific person, not for the average patient of a textbook. An era when death transforms from a sudden blow into a predictable event, and therefore into an event that can be delayed, softened, and sometimes prevented entirely. There is still much for us to resolve. How to protect the data, how to ensure equal access to the technology so that a digital twin is not exclusive to those who can pay millions, how to learn to live with this knowledge without being broken by its weight. These questions are no less important than the technical ones, and the answers to them will determine not only the future of medicine, but the future of what it means to be human. The universe spent nearly 14 billion years creating a being capable of recognizing its own finitude, and several thousand years more for that being to find an instrument for speaking with death as an equal. That instrument is now in our hands. The question is how we choose to use it. If this video made you stop and think, leave a like. It is the best way to tell us that these subjects matter to you. Write in the comments, would you want to know the date of your death if such a possibility existed? It is one of those questions with no right answer, only an honest one. Subscribe to our Telegram channel, where we share materials that do not fit the video format, fresh research, unexpected facts, and conversations about what the world will look like tomorrow. If you want to support the channel and help us create more videos like this one, visit our support page. The link is in the description. Every contribution from you is a new video, a new journey, a new mystery we will solve together. Stay with us, and until we meet again.